Namaste and welcome everyone, beloved lover of the planets and stars, followers of Kṣaṇāti Jyotish and lovers of Vedic astrology. I'm here today to discuss a very significant transit, which is starting today, October 23rd. This is when Venus will enter its debilitation sign in Virgo, and this lasts until November 15th. So a little less than a month. But just because the transit is lasting a little less than a month doesn't mean that it's not going to be impacting us, especially if we have certain aspects in our chart which are relating to this. Planets in Virgo, difficultly positioned Venus. These can be a huge impact on our chart during this time. So I just want to discuss this transit with everyone and how it will impact them. But first, I think in honor of Venus and in honor of this transit, to improve the quality of Venus, I'll do a quick Venus chant just to kind of get everything started. Imakunda manalabam daityanam paramam gurum sarva shastra pravaktaram Bhargavam pranamam yaham himakunda manalabam Daichanam paramam gurum sarva shastra pravaktaram Bhargavam pranamam yaham himakunda manalabam Taichanam Paramam Guru Sarva Shastra Pravaktaram Bhargavam Pranamam Yaham Om Dram Dream Dram Saha Shukraya Namaha 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 Om Tvameva Matacha Pita Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva Veja Dravanam Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshvarema Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshvarema Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshvarye Namaha Hari Om Namah Shivaya Namaste. Blessed community. I hope you all enjoyed the chanting. So we did a Venus chant in there to improve the quality of Venus for all of us. So no matter where our Venus is, where our Virgo is, we did the Venus chant to improve the quality of Venus. So that will be helping all of us during this period, no matter where our Virgo is, no matter where our Venus positioned is. Now, when Venus goes into Virgo, it goes into its debilitation. Now, according to Parashara, the ancient sage of Vedic astrology, debilitation is a 100% inauspicious effect, while an exaltation is a 100% auspicious effect. But there's always aspects in the chart. There's always special things going on in the chart, like there's a Parvritana yoga going on during the chart during this time as well. So there are other things in the chart which, make the debilitation maybe less difficult than it is, or less challenging than it is. But it's still debilitated nonetheless. And there are a couple things that are significant about this period that's helpful to know that I would like to share with the community. One thing, what happens with Venus when Virgo gets debilitated is our relationship with the material world and money and the material things. It can really get out of whack. It can really get out of form, and we can pay a little too much attention to the material aspect of life. This means we could be money hungry or seeking money, but it also means like we could be having financial difficulties or financial challenges. And that's why you're having that seeking of money or that desiring of money. So there is this strong energy during this period in which Venus ultimately wants you to have the right relationship with money, the right relationship with the material world. But Venus, in its debilitated form, pushes us through dualities. So we can experience financial challenges during this period. That's certainly something that can come up. But it's not like you couldn't experience financial success during this period too, potentially, if you have something in your chart that's correcting some of this debilitated factor. But if it's hitting your chart directly, it's not going to be a particularly favorable time for you financially. And unless you really, as far as the Virgo is concerned, use your intelligence. So it's all about using your intelligence. And one thing that's going on right now is there's a depositorship because Venus is going into the Virgo sign, and Mercury is going into which is a Mercury sign, and Mercury is going to the Venus sign. So that's the Parvatana Yoga. So that benefits the chart a little bit, and it benefits the karma of the period a little bit. Showing those extremes, saying, okay, well, it doesn't mean that you have to be bankrupt during this period. Everyone's going to be declaring bankruptcy, but you can see in our government, in our political situations, the difficulties that certain people are having financially during this time, relating to the coronavirus, not being able to find work, not being able to find new jobs, losing their old jobs, having to file for unemployment and things like that has been common. And you can see this going into certain places in the world into the winter, that energy just kind of building and getting stronger as you go into this Venus debilitated period. But what you can really do for it is you can try to put the more important things that are more important than money. I like to say our spirituality, our health, our family, those things are more important than money. We try to put those things first, and it improves our quality with Venus and improves our remedy with Venus. But other than that, you understand the need to have enough money to provide, to have the experiences you'd like to have, to give your family the experiences they want to have. But it's always about putting the things like spirituality and your family's desires and your individual health and your family's health above any financial opportunity or anything like that. And we might be tempted during Venus debilitated period. Oh, here's this financial opportunity, but it means we have to be distant from our family when they need us the most. So again, there are these dualistic aspects here. Now, the second is romantic, in that Venus in Virgo can be challenging in terms of the romantic realm, because Virgo is a sign of perfection. And one thing about human beings is that we're imperfect beings, is that we're flaws. We have our certain strengths, we have our certain gifts. We also have our weaknesses. We also have our challenges. And one of the things about Venus in Virgo is it wants the romantic partner to be their best self, to be perfect, to be natural. And if you have that in your chart, or if you have a lot of planets in Virgo in a certain position, you have that naturally. And then the debilitated Venus is just going to emphasize that. So that means we can have high expectations of our partners. We can have high expectations of ourselves, which includes self-confident, issues with self-confidence and self-esteem, and our own physical appearance, and things like that, because it Venus debilitated, it strives for perfectionism. But one thing in a relationship is understanding that two imperfect beings are working together to grow and to evolve. And it's not going to be easy all the time, and things aren't always going to be perfect all the time. But that can be challenging with this period during Venus's debilitated in Virgo. Um, Also, when Venus is debilitated in Virgo, the energy is more focused intellectually. So the energy that is usually romantic, it's generally, sensual, or it's devotional, or it's love oriented. It's more heart centered. Because of Venus's position in Virgo, it becomes more intellectual. So during this period, one of the remedial aspects is, okay, learn to understand your partner's intellect, have better conversations, have deeper conversations, have more intellectual conversations. And actually, this could be a very beneficial remedy during the Venus debilitated period. It doesn't mean that, a married couple will experience challenges during this period as long as they have good communication. But if communication is not good, there could really be a challenge. And for new and starting relationships that haven't even developed good communication, it could be particularly challenging for those. Now, on a more global sort of society, sort of governmental, I guess, big picture spectrum, when you think about Venus and Virgo and its debilitation over the next couple weeks, it'll be happening during the time of the United States election. It'll be happening, and that's very interesting, is this duality of, okay, you have one party and you have another party and you have a two-party system. So that's dualistic in its nature. And so we can see that manifesting through the political system and the election coming up in the United States. But just generally, it shows that there are extremes going on in different countries in different ways. There could be certain extreme situations going on. And also, in addition, as we mentioned in the 5-part series I did with Navjit, Rahu and Ketu are in their exalted position. So some of these extreme things could be, rumors of war, rumors of conflict. So it can be very challenging in that sense. Now, ultimately, the best thing that we can do during this Venus and Virgo period, whether it's romantically or materially, is let go of our expectations. I used to say it was better to have low expectations, but I think it's better to have no expectations, because if you have low expectations, you're already expecting the worst. But if you have no expectations, you can really be pleasantly surprised, and you're not always disappointed by the low expectation. And so, as much as possible during this Venus and debilitated period, as far as our consciousness is concerned, the best thing that we can do is to have no expectations. And that includes with our romantic partner. So, we might see a way that they can grow, but let's not have an expectation that they get there in the time that we want them to get there, or apply it to the material. We have a certain investment and we expect to get a return on that investment in a certain period of time. We'll let go of that expectation of when you get that return on that investment, and you might actually get the lucrative return that you're looking for. So again, I know this is just a month-long transit, but I wanted to share a little bit about how it was going to affect everyone during this period. And I hope all of you enjoyed this video, and it was great to connect with the community. And I look forward to our next discussion. Many blessings to you, and Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om. Namaste.